Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Cristiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs, and we cover Broadway and off-Broadway theater. I'm coming to you from the LTV studio in Wainscott. I have a really special guest, Daryl Roth, the American theater producer, and my friend, I guess.
I would say definitely your friend for many, many years.
Thank you. And Daryl is a 9-time Tony Award-winning producer.
13
Oh,
Tonys,
I got it all wrong.
I must say.
And I just asked her, and I forgot already, but 13 Tony Awards. But what's really interesting, she holds the distinction of having produced 7 Pulitzer Prize-winning plays, which I think I applaud you.
Thank you.
And Daryl, congratulations on your recent honor. You were honored at Guildhall with a Lifetime Achievement Award, which they give to only very special people that have
And
done.
people that are older.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Yes, well,
But
you
my
have.
lifetime is still going.
Most people don't have much of an achievement if they're not
Well,
older.
thank you.
So some people,
That's true.
you have to be around
No, I'm thrilled.
to achieve.
Especially, because we love East Hampton, and so it was a nice honor.
And it got all your family to come out too, made it
Yeah,
a
family
very
and
special
friends.
occasion.
Mhm.
But you're here today. We want to talk about the new play you're bringing
Yes.
in, Left on 10th by Delia Ephron. It's based on her memoir, which is a romantic comedy. It's a true story about her
Yes.
life. We've made a few little changes. I will talk about that. You did a little addition, and it's going to play on Broadway. Do we know the
It's
dates?
going to the James Earl Jones Theater, which is beautifully renovated, as you know. And in fact, the last play I did there was Indecent, when it was called the Court Theater.
Oh wow!
And then they
How
renovated
long
it.
ago was that?
It was over 2 years, year and a half, 2 years ago.
So there's a brand new theater now.
It's a lovely new theater, and it stars Juliana Margulies,
From The Good Wife.
yes, and The Morning Show, and long ago, ER,
Oh,
and Peter Gallagher.
she's
who we
very
adore.
popular. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying Peter Gallagher, Peter Francis James, and Kate McCluggall. It's a wonderful, wonderful play. As you said, it's a true story. It's Delia's story, and it's a romantic comedy for a certain generation. It's about falling in love the second time around. It's like second chances in life and love.
Mhm.
And her story is really amazing because, well, let me step back and say that some years ago, you probably remember, I produced Love, Loss, and What I Wore.
Yeah. Yes.
Which was written by Nora, her sister Nora
course.
Ephron, and Delia. And so I got
They
to
wrote
know
that
them.
together. I didn't know that.
Yes, they were little vignettes. We had 5
I remember.
women.
I know, but I didn't know they wrote it together.
Yes.
I didn't remember it
Yes.
probably.
It was based on a book, and then they added different stories that were all about clothing and accessories and how important little things like that meant in a woman's life.
And the memories that you hold with
Memories, exactly. And we had 5 women on stage, and over a period of 3 years, we had 150 women in the roles.
them. Wow.
And it still goes on around the country, around the world. So anyway, my point is that that's where I first got to work with Delia and Nora. And some years later, jumping ahead, Delia told me that she was planning on writing her memoir. And I said, I would love to read it when you're finished, if you'd like.
Mhm.
And in fact, she gave me the manuscript. And I read it, and I said, soon after we
Did you
got
read it
together.
before it was printed?
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
I know, I love that. I feel very special. In
Yes.
on something.
You are special.
Oh, thank you. I said to her, Delia, I think this could be a gorgeous play. For me, it felt somewhere in the middle of Wit, Year of Magical Thinking, and then like same time next year, because it had all the elements of what people go through in life, the high points, the low points, but falling in love again is really what made it so heartfelt. It's witty in that Ephron way. It's warm.
And she's lost her spouse, her husband.
So let me tell you how it starts.
Okay.
Because the setup is fabulous.
Okay.
In the book and now in the play. Her husband of many years, Jerry Cass, died not unexpectedly. He had been sick for a while. And after he died, Delia tried to get the Verizon phone company to turn off his phone. And if you get into one of those situations where they send you up the chain of managers and nothing gets done. So she was so frustrated, having just dealt with the death of her husband and everything that goes with that, just trying to get his phone turned off. So she, as a writer, wrote a fabulous op-ed piece for the New York Times.
Mhm.
And it was about trying to get the phone turned off.
Right.
Well, keep in mind that she and Nora wrote You've Got Mail. And as a bookend to that, when she put this op-ed piece in the New York Times, everybody started emailing her. Oh my God, the same thing happened to me. I can understand your frustration. Many, many people wrote to her. One of the emails that she got was from a man named Peter from San Francisco, a psychiatrist, we later find out, who says, Dear Delia, the same thing happened to me. I empathize totally. And do you remember that we dated 40 some odd years ago? And that sets the stage. So Peter and Delia started.
Did she remember?
She did not remember.
Oh, that's even
She did
cooler.
not
I like
remember.
that even better.
But they started emailing back and forth, and they became, very involved and very enchanted with one another long distance. As I said, he lived in San Francisco.
Did they send pictures?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about that. But they talked for hours and they
It's more
emailed
important.
for hours. Anyway, eventually, many months later, he comes to New York and they meet in person. And of course, they have this whole wonderful romance. And so, without giving too much away, I will tell you that then Delia goes through some health issues, up and down. Ultimately, it's a story about inspiration and courage and being willing to take another chance at life and love. And they do end up together and they have a wonderful life. And it's a beautiful story that so many women and men can relate to. And it's happy. I mean, it has warmth and humor, and it has heartache. Like life, it has.
Well, it sounds like it's my cup of tea because I believe that we have to navigate
Yeah.
a lot of poop shit. That's what I like to say to really get to stay happy.
get to the good stuff.
Huh?
To get to the good stuff.
Yes, and it's a constant process, right?
It is. I mean, it's called life.
Yes,
But
exactly.
she wrote it beautifully. And so I introduced her to Susan Stroman,
Oh.
who is a fabulous director. Most people think of her, and rightfully so,
As a
as a musical
choreographer.
theater director, choreographer. But I had seen a beautiful play that she directed, that was written by Coleman Domingo called Dot.
Oh, I saw it. I love. We were just speaking about Coleman. I love Coleman.
I love him too.
Yeah.
I was so moved by this play and realizing that Susan Stroman directed it. I always had her in my mind for a play. So I introduced Delia and Stro, and they became very good friends, and they worked on this piece together. And this is what we have.
So it's no dancing in it. It's just.
There's a little bit of dancing. It's not a musical, it's a straight play, but there are a couple of cute little steps, that just make it joyful.
Now you also, we were talking just before that in her book, her dog dies. And you had made a suggestion that the character in the play, even though she didn't really get another dog, gets another dog.
Yeah, we thought it would be a good idea to leave everything on a high note. And so it was also about starting life again.
Right.
And you lose someone. She lost her husband. Her dog passed away. She met this wonderful man and had another relationship. And so I just felt how wonderful to bring another dog into that new family. And so in real life, she did get another dog. And in the show, we have Honey.
For all
And
you
Charlotte.
dog lovers, we have 2 dogs in this show.
And they are cute as can be. Thank you, Bill Berloni, our fabulous theater dog
Yeah,
person.
he's fabulous.
Yeah.
He just does wonderful
Yeah.
things.
So the
So
dogs
what
just brings-
are the 2 dogs in the show?
Honey and Charlotte.
Honey and Charlotte. I'm sorry. Yeah, Daryl and I are dog people.
We
and,
are.
and we only
We are.
like people who like dogs.
And we don't like people that don't like dogs.
Oh yeah, they don't gravitate to a dog.
We don't feel that there are people.
So one more time. So it's the James Earl Jones and
James Earl Jones Theater, the first preview, if I may say, is September 26th, opens officially October 23rd, and we run until the first week in February. It's a limited engagement.
oh, it's a limited engagement show.
So come on over.
Okay, so we have a limited time to see that.
As we say, go left on 10th.
I love it. Thank you. So now you've got some other things that you're working on. Look, you're the Picture of Dorian Gray, which you did in London.
Right. I was one of the co-producers in London. It was a huge hit. It stars Sarah Snook. For those of you that are Succession fans, she was Shiv.
I
Now, this is an incredible production like nothing you've seen. She plays all different roles,
32.
32 roles, and she becomes, on a dime, she changes from one character to the next, and we see all this on stage. Because part of the beauty and the intricacy of this particular piece of theater is that it all happens in front of us. It's not like she runs off and gets a wig or a new costume. The transformation, which is so amazing, happens like this, like this, like this, and she morphs into these different characters. It's remarkable. So it will come in the spring, and she won an Olivier Award for her performance in London, and she's incredible.
And is she the only one on stage too?
She's the only actor on stage.
That's what I meant.
All the other people on stage are the people that are transforming her and doing the video. It's also part video. It's hard to describe.
No, I read about this and I thought, oh my God, how can they do
Yeah.
that? It just made me really curious about
This
wanting.
is one of the things you have to see to believe. You have to see
I-
to believe it. I mean, it's
Now,
amazing.
how did it come to you?
Well, it came to me because many years ago when we were working on Kinky Boots, as
Right.
you remember,
Of course.
I had a lovely co-producer in Australia named Michael Cassell, and we stayed in touch. He was our Kinky Boots Australian producer, partner, and he let me know that he was working on this play called Dorian Gray in London. Would I like to join him? And that's how I got lucky enough to be in on it.
From that long ago, from Kinky Boots.
Well, we stayed in touch.
Okay,
We
but
stayed in touch, but that's how I know him and his company.
now, what was the first what was the first, like, even though he asked you if you wanted to be a part of it, what was the first thing you saw? What did you read first? What?
Well, they had done a production in Australia first
Mhm.
with another actor who
Did you get to see that?
I saw a little video clip of it. I
Okay.
didn't go to Australia to see
That's
it.
what I meant. Mhm.
And
So
when
that intrigued you.
it totally intrigued me.
Mhm.
It totally intrigued me. And then when I heard that Sarah had been cast for London, I was just overjoyed.
Because you're a fan of
I'm a
Succession.
big fan of hers.
Oh,
She's a
okay.
wonderful actress. Wonderful. And so I said, yes, I'd love to co-produce it with you. And there are about 5 of us that co-produced it in London, and we'll all be involved in the Broadway production.
But you haven't got a theater yet or anything like
Not
that.
yet.
But it'll all come together.
It will.
Yeah,
It will.
in due time. So we'll look for that next season.
In the spring.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
this coming spring we will have it up. I think that we'll see how the fall shows shake out, and then I'm sure there'll be a theater for us.
Mhm.
That's always the tricky part on Broadway. It's become almost a traffic jam to get a theater that's the right theater for your play. I know we waited for the James Earl Jones for a very long time, or hoped that we would get the James Earl Jones, and we were told that we could have the theater only at the Tony Award night, believe it or not. And so we've been,
Tony Award night, they so you can have this theater.
this is the theater you have, and so we were really
And which
putting it all,
what theater is this?
the James Earl Jones.
Okay, but who's? Is
It's a Schubert theater.
That's what I meant.
And we were so excited because it was my first choice.
Mhm.
And it just meant that we had to get into gear very quickly.
So how long? I'm just curious. How long have you been waiting for a theater?
Months, many, many months. We were hoping to do it in the fall because the schedules of Susan Stroman and Juliana and Peter, they were really good for the fall. So if we hadn't gotten a theater in the fall, I would have had to really, figure it all out in a different way. So we feel very fortunate.
Do you mean you would have done it with different actors?
No, I would have waited till they were free again.
Okay, that's.
I'm totally committed.
No,
to
because
this
sometimes
group.
when sometimes it's just people, you see people
Yeah.
that are so right and no one else, you don't want to do it with anybody.
Well, it's a very good point you make, because what's so right about this is the chemistry that Juliana and Peter have together. They are so wonderful together. You believe this is their love affair. I mean, and when they first met to do a reading for us, you could just feel it. You could just feel the kindness and the compassion and the zigging and zagging. I mean, it's fabulous.
Well, it's perfect time because I slipped my mind that we have a clip.
Oh,
Of
let's
of
see,
them,
of them.
and it shows everything that you're just talking
Oh,
about.
fabulous.
And thank you for reminding me. I don't know if you knew we were doing that organically, but we
No.
have a wonderful clip from
Left on 10.
left yes, left on 10th.
When you were sent the play, Left on 10, were you immediately smitten and said, that's it, I'm doing it? Or did you have to think about it?
I was immediately smitten.
I was smitten too.
Yes.
Delia has a line in the play, your character has flown all the way across the country to see her for the first time, and they both lost their spouses. She says to you, at this stage, it would be easier to just say enough
That's right.
You say, I want totality.
Oh, yes. He speaks about the total eclipse as a kind of metaphor. The difference between a total eclipse and 95% totality. The difference between kind of doing something and really doing something is all the difference in the world.
I think it'll inspire people when they leave the theater.
For a moment, no one will feel alone. I'm very excited to be sharing a stage with you in this play. I feel very lucky.
I do too.
I'll have your back, you'll have mine.
I got your back. We hope
Anything
you
left?
come and see us.
Please do.
We can't wait for you to join us on Broadway.
A new rom-com play by Delia Ephron, directed by Susan Stroman.
I think you will love it as much as we do.
Nice, huh?
Yes, the chemistry.
chemistry
They
is
really
there.
have. They're just lovely
I
together.
know, and they're so kind to one another in the rehearsal periods that are starting, they're just, as they say, they're looking out for each other's back.
But there's clearly an
Yeah.
innate kindness in each of them that radiates
Well,
from
they're
their
both
soul.
fabulous people.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Fabulous actors, but fabulous people. Fabulous people. So I'm lucky, really lucky. I'm looking forward. And I think this play will bring a lot of joy to people and a lot of recognition. At a certain age, you go through things and you don't want to feel that you're alone. And you realize everybody goes through things. They may have a little different tone and a little different this, a little different that, but we all go through things that are challenging and magnificent. And that's how it goes, hills and valleys. And I think, when you're at a certain age, you recognize that you're not alone, that everybody's kind of in the same boat, one way or another.
Why do you think it takes such a long time for us to understand all that?
That's a good question. I think it's just the maturing process. I don't know. I just feel like you talk to your friends and you hear similar stories, like a parent passes away or, the kids go to college and you feel lonely or something changes in your life. And these things happen as life goes on. So much happens as life goes on. And the beauty of this story, I believe, is that, first of all, it's so honest. It's just pure honesty. It's Delia's story, but it's a story that we can all relate to. And the beauty of finding love again and being willing, it's like falling in love with love. It's like a romance in your 50s or 60s, feeling like you're 18 again. It's that joy. And I think that the audience will feel that. And, that's just a wonderful thing to share. And there isn't a lot on Broadway that's particularly uplifting in the play department.
No, it's Broadway is going through a metamorphosis. I think personally, and I was going to ask you about that, because do you think it's sometimes hard to, like when you're talking about when the theaters are going to be available for you or
Yeah.
not? Sometimes shows run longer than you ever anticipated.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's harder to read the pulse is where I'm going. Is that correct or not?
Well, there are some shows
the
that have a
audience.
limited engagement, so that we know.
Right.
And then there's some shows that happily keep running and extending. That's great, as long as the theater is still available for them.
Right.
And then there are other shows that sadly close prematurely. We've all
But-
been there.
But it's harder to gauge the pulse of the audiences today. Is that not right? Or
It's interesting to think about it. I think we have to be very aware of what audiences are looking for now. I think that joy is the word that comes to mind. We all want to be challenged at the theater. I know I've done a lot of work that's very challenging.
Mhm.
And people come away really thinking about it, and I love that. But I feel right now there's a time where you can go away thinking about what you've just seen, but also kind of feel renewed and somehow feel fulfilled and, dare I say, happy.
And this is what this will do.
I think so. Yeah.
It sounds like it.
I think that it will make people realize that every minute in life counts and you have to be brave. And if, you have an opportunity.
Every minute in life counts.
Every minute in life counts. And so you've just, got to be brave and go out there and go for it. Go for what life offers you in a way. I think this play has a big dose of that. And I think it also lets us know that it's never too late, to fall in love. It's never too late to, live life with enthusiasm. It's never too late to learn something new, to travel, whatever it is that, excites you. I just feel it's just important for us to live every moment.
I'm on the same page, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
And I think, but I think there's something like, why does it take such maturity to get to that place to understand that? Why can't we know that earlier?
Well, I think it's true, but I think we take life for granted when we're younger. We think everything's going to be fine. It's all going to work out. Whatever it is, it is. I don't know. Maybe we just appreciate it all more, especially when things are taken away from you. Then you realize, okay, maybe everything isn't going to be fabulous. So let's make the best of what
So when
we
things
have.
aren't so fabulous, you really appreciate the good stuff when you have it,
I think
and
that's
you're
right.
more grateful for what you've had sometimes when you didn't realize what was right there.
I think that's true.
Mhm.
I think that's true. And also, having an attitude that gives you an opportunity to be happy and to be joyous, rather than an attitude that
Yes.
makes you feel down and out. It's
That's why I have my dog.
Dogs are the best.
There's no way I can be unhappy with my dog.
It's the truth. Isn't it the truth?
Yes, they just start.
Well, someone was telling me about an article that if you sleep with your dogs, which I do,
I do
that
too.
you will have a better night's sleep, that you will sleep more calmly and more peacefully.
I didn't know that, but I sleep
I
with
knew
my
that,
dog.
but nobody ever said it. I mean, I felt it, but no one ever really. This was a scientific study,
Really?
so now it's proof. Proof.
Well, I like it, and I sleep with my dog. And I wasn't going to bring him in. I wasn't going to bring him
Oh,
in
I'm
until
glad
he
you
was.
did.
No, I was going to wait till he was a year old, but he was so cute. I brought him in early.
Well, I believe
You sleep with both of your dogs?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
One hops on the bed, and one is usually next to the bed. He's not into hopping on the bed. They're all there.
But you can get stairs too.
I have them.
Okay.
Little stairs going on. What we won't do for our little pets.
Now you have one more thing we were going to talk about too. I forget what it was. Wasn't there something else? No,
We're gonna talk
no.
about-
Oh no, I got confused because when I remember now how
I do
got
have something coming up, but it's not ready.
Okay.
But just as a little preview.
Yes, any preview is wonderful. And then you can come back and share about it
I would
then.
love to. So we're doing a play adaptation of Gentlemen from Moscow, and it's being written by a wonderful writer, and I hope to be able to tell you more about it in the coming months.
Okay.
That's all. It's a
Good.
great book. It was made into a TV feature also, series, and we're looking forward to it being a Broadway play.
Well, you always have something wonderful to share. So thank you for
Okay.
coming. It's always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to see you again. Congratulations on your Guildhall Lifetime Achievement Award. And just keep doing what you're doing. And I
keep
look
doing it.
forward to seeing Left on 10th
Great, great.
at the James Earl Jones Theater. And what's the date? One more time.
It officially opens on the 23rd of October. Previews begin September 26th. So come anytime.
Yes.
You're welcome always.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to see you.
It was good.
Oh,